Our reflection will be from the book of Jonah. The word of the Lord came to Jonah a second time. Set out for the great city of Nineveh and announce to it the message that I will tell you. So Jonah made ready and went to Nineveh according to the Lord's bidding. Now Nineveh was an enormously large city. It took 3 days to go through it. And Jonah began his journey through the city and had gone but a single day's walk, announcing, 40 days more, and Nineveh shall be destroyed. When the people of Nineveh believed God, they proclaimed a fast, and all of them, great and small, put on sackcloth. Now when the news reached the king of Nineveh, he rose from the throne, laid aside his robe, covered himself with sackcloth, and sat in the ashes. Then he had this proclaimed throughout Nineveh by decree of the king and his nobles. Neither man nor beast, neither cattle nor sheep shall taste anything. They shall not eat, nor shall they drink water. Man and beast shall be covered with sackcloth and called lauded to God. Every man shall turn from his evil way and from the violence he has in mind. Who knows? God may relent and forgive and withhold his blazing wrath so that we shall not perish. When God saw by their actions how they turned from their evil way, he repented of the evil that he had threatened to do to them. He did not carry it out. You know, the author could have put the core message in a very simple sentence. God wills that everything God has created will be saved. But the poet enmeshed the message in a story, a powerful, gripping reflection of a reluctant messenger, Jonah, and the extravagantly loving God who embraces the most hateful people, Nineveh. You will recall that when God first called Jonah to mission to his enemies, Jonah responds, "No way." He flees to a ship, and its safety threatened. Jonah is pitched overboard, swallowed by a giant fish. But even the monster couldn't stomach Jonah, and he is belched ashore. Where? Why, you guessed it, Nineveh. Sent again, Jonah reluctantly preaches 40 days, and Nineveh will be destroyed. And then Jonah parks himself on a high hill, joyously awaiting the destruction of Nineveh. And what happens? Both people and king believe God. They proclaim the fast, and all of them, even the animals, were clothed in sackcloth. Jonah is, of course, outraged. So what's the message for us? God's word of salvation, however it comes, is life-giving, like winter's rains and snow seeping into dry ground. And his word will not return void, but will accomplish what God intends. How will God affect the salvation of all that is created? It's hidden. Like the knowledge of a scientist 100 years ago about how humans could fly to the moon. But what we do know is that God has gifted us with faith, not only for our salvation, but that God's word might be spread to all peoples of earth. A few questions. Do we know ourselves, each of us, that we have been called, chosen, and consecrated to be messengers of God's salvation? Do we thank God for the mission entrusted to us? Do we share the hope of God's promise that God wills all of God's creation to salvation? So do we make immediate the sense of God's abundant love for everything that comes from God's hand? How best can we fashion the message that it can be accepted, bringing its beauty and power to bear on issues and concerns that modern men and women treasure? So the story of Jonah will become our story, and his mission, our mission.